All right, guys, we're going to be doing a three-part demonstration of a lab where you are going to be looking at three different factors that have to do with when we're determining weather. So the first one we're going to be looking at is how powerful is the air. So we're going to take a can, so it's just an empty soda can. We put about 30 milliliters of water inside, and then we're going to get it really hot. Obviously not going to touch it or touch the burner because it's really hot. And then I'm going to use these tongs to move it into the ice water, and we'll see what happens. So at this point, under part one, you should pause the video right now so you can draw a before picture of what your can looks like. Okay, so I'll give you a second to go ahead and pause the video to see what your can looks like in part one. Then we're gonna turn this on. We're gonna get the water inside to a boiling, so until I see some steam rising out, and I've given it some time to do that. And I see some steam, so I'm taking that. Actually, I'll give it another little second here to really get some steam going. Really get it working, and then we'll move it into the ice water. Once you're done, I'm going to show you the can, and you'll pause again so that you can make some drawings for after of what the can looks like afterwards. All right, so this is the can after, and you'll see that it is completely crushed. It sucked in some of the water inside of it. So go ahead and pause your video and draw what it looks like after. Okay, once you've drawn your after, you're going to go into your assignment and answer the questions below your drawings about what happens to the air inside the can when it's heated. So we saw some steam coming up. And then what happens to the water inside the can during this activity? And think back to when we talked about different states of matter and how when it turns from a liquid to a gas, how that can change how fast the molecules are moving. So don't forget about that stuff we've already learned this year. And you're going to answer those questions. And then we'll go to part two of this next demonstration.
And we're going to observe what happens.
All right, so this is part two of weather factors. This is how is condensation related to humidity. So remember back to the water cycle when we were talking about condensation, which is gas turning back into a liquid. So we're going to fill 2 clear plastic cups with room temperature water and ice cubes. So I'm going to add some ice cubes to each of these. And then it says to quickly place one of the cups in a gallon-sized plastic bag and to squeeze out as much of the air as possible from the bag. And then allow the cup to sit for 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to allow 10 minutes to pass, and then we will come back to these cups. All right, to finish up part two, we have 2 separate cups. Both put in here at the same time. This one has been in the Ziploc bag with very little amount of air around it, whereas this one has been exposed to the air for the last 10 minutes. So if you can see, this cup looks a lot cloudier, and that's because on the outside it's built up a lot of condensation. So if I go like this, you can see those bigger water droplets, whereas this one has very little amount of condensation on the cup inside. So make sure you answer the questions for part two about why this one might have more condensation built up than this one.
Part 3, how does air move? So observe the paper spiral I have sitting here, and what we're going to do is the instructions say to put it under a hot plate and turn the hot plate on, but I'm going to put a candle underneath it, and we will observe what happens. I want you in box number 2 to make a prediction. What do you think is going to happen when I put the candle underneath it? The flame is not going to be in contact with the paper. So we'll pause here for a minute. You're making a prediction about what you think is going to happen when the candle is placed right here. So we'll grab our candle here. And you'll definitely notice something is happening now. So if I go down a little bit on this piece of paper, it wants us to create some diagram of before and after. And then there's a few questions. So why does this spiral start to move? What's changed here? Sure. One hint I want to give you is think about matter. Think about all the molecules. When we learned about heat, we did some PhET simulations that looked like this. One of the things we could change was we could add heat to it. What happens to the pressure? Sure, when heat is added. Also, think back to your web quest. I think it's part 3. There's some questions that talk about wind, and that may help you answer some of the questions about this paper spiral setup here. So take a minute, answer the rest of the questions.